Hello again. We've started looking at the Eucharist, the Lord's Supper, and its centrality to the Christian faith, and really how it helps reveal the great mystery of Christ, the incarnation, fully God, fully man. The early church and the church fathers, when they looked at the Eucharist, they always began with John 6. Let me just share that with you. I tell you the truth, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you cannot have eternal life within you. But anyone who eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise that person up at the last day. For my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink. Anyone who eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. I want to just take a few moments and look at some aspects of the bread, one of the two elements of the Eucharist, the Lord's Supper. For the early church, they understood that Jesus as the bread of heaven, the bread of life, it was because in him the whole of the life of the cosmos was held together, or as they said, kneaded together like bread. And so even when we take the bread, we remember that we are part of this cosmos that he holds so carefully and indescribably beyond our imagination, that he holds it all together. The other thing that I think of is, a favorite verse of mine is John 14:12. I'm in the Father, you're in me, I'm in you. That since the bread is absorbed, when I eat the bread, it becomes my body, and it becomes holy in my body. This whole aspect of oneness in the Eucharist, I think is huge. That's why I believe it is much more than just remembering his sacrifice at the cross, that I'm actually receiving the bread of heaven, the very life source of all of creation I am taking in. This is why I believe it's so beneficial for us to frequently come to the Lord's table and partake of the Eucharist. There's something very incarnational, something that really connects me to him. And the other point I want to make is that Jesus said, my flesh is real food, in the passage I just read. This seems almost too intimate, too personal for us. You know, when he gathered with his friends, he did not say, this is my spirit, which is for you. He said, this is my body. Jesus is giving us his full humanity. It is both his divinity and his humanity coming together. Again, there we see that which is incarnational. And I think in doing this, Jesus in the Eucharist is declaring that all of human life is sacred, that there's no sacred secular divide. And this statement, this is my body, and he says my flesh is real food, to me that makes it very, very clear. And the church fathers, by the way, were unanimous on this, that Christ is physically present in the bread. Now this, as I said last week, I think that, or last time we were together, I think that we need to receive this by faith for it to be actualized. But I believe with all my heart the life of Christ comes into us through this. So the Eucharist embodies this dual nature, fully human and fully divine. And I encourage you to consider these aspects of the bread next time you celebrate the Eucharist, partake in the Lord's Supper.